Hello, everyone. I'm Hardik from Learn Web3, day two of workshops for the Decentralized Intelligence Hackathon Season 2. And today we have Ethan from WeaveDB to come talk about building your first app on WeaveDB. So everybody who's here, anybody who's joining late, this is recorded. If you need to refer back to anything, it will be uploaded to YouTube later, so you can go check it out. And if you have any questions, post it in chat. We'll be taking questions and some during the workshop or at the end. With that, I won't take up too much of your time. Ethan, over to you. Take it away.
Thank you, Hardik. Hello, everyone, GM, and again, welcome to the WeaveDB workshop in collaboration with Learn Web3. My name, again, is Ethan, although you might also know me by my pseudonym Drumfeet on the WeaveDB Discord. And in this call, I will discuss just a short introduction about WeaveDB and how to start using it in your projects. You can also feel free to approach us on the WeaveDB Discord if you have any questions on how to use WeaveDB after this workshop. I will provide the URL links later. And by the way, we also have a community call on our Discord, which is held every 2 weeks. If you want to participate, just check the events channel on our Discord, so you'll be able to have a feel of the community. And I think we are ready to start. My screen has already been shared. Okay, let us begin now with just an intro of what is WeaveDB. All right, so what is WeaveDB? Now, WeaveDB is a decentralized NoSQL database as a smart contract on our Weave. It functions similarly if you know Google Firestore and MongoDB. It's similar to those. However, with the WeaveDB, you have true ownership and complete control of your data. And you also have the guaranteed permanent data storage because it is utilizing our Weave as its underlying storage solution. But why do we need WeaveDB, and what is the problem that WeaveDB is solving? Okay, so blockchains have not yet demonstrated that they can scale to support the demands of Web3 and crypto native applications. You cannot build a practical database on top of existing blockchains. They are only good enough for tokens and NFTs. Storing data on any existing blockchains, even layer twos, are also still too expensive still. I think even with the upgrade that just recently happened. And honestly speaking, most crypto applications we use today rely on a centralized database, which is a single point of failure. The database manager can shut down the service, the service provider can change pricing, and third party developers need permission to use APIs. And there are current Web3 database solutions out there, but the problem is that they are impractical or too domain specific. And so, what is the solution? WeaveDB provides the solution. WeaveDB is solving the problem of centralization and ownership of your data. It offers the performance, scalability, cost effectiveness, and guaranteed permanent data storage of our Weave. And in the upcoming version, WeaveDB is making a huge upgrade to become the general purpose and fully decentralized database, bringing in a modular database architecture. So WeaveDB is developing to be a modular smart contract database, enabling the creation of different database types using a single data source. For example, a relational database, NoSQL, GraphQL, and a vector database. The four key layers, API, query parser, indexer, and data source, will be open smart contracts, which are composable, swappable, and permanently available. WeaveDB is also developing a layer 3 rollup to store data permanently to our Weave. How this works is WeaveDB rollup deploys a database contract to Warp layer 2 and uses the equivalent contract on the rollup node. And this ensures the database continues to work the same on layer 2 even when layer 3 rollup Wait, yeah, even when layer three, I was with the sound on the chat. So later on, I will have the Q&A after the demo. So I'll just finish this short, quick intro about WeaveDB. About the layer 3 database queries will be stored on layer 2 and Rweave with timestamp verifiability, which means these contract states are fully recoverable and can be forked by anyone. And this removes the need for a separate cloud cache and single point of failure of a rollup node. The team is also working on WeaveChain, which is the marketplace for rollup operators and dApp developers. Rollup as a service will be part of the WeaveChain economics. And so WeaveChain will be built with Cosmos SDK and the native token will be WDB. So one would need to stake a certain amount of tokens to be a rollup operator and receive operator rewards from the protocol and service fees from the dApp developer. The team has also just recently released the zkJSON light paper. zkJSON makes any JSON data verifiable without revealing the data itself. Okay. It transforms JSON data into a format that's compatible with zero knowledge proofs through the use of ZK circuits. It employs specialized calculations to authenticate the validity of this data securely. By integrating also with Solidity, this it facilitates the querying and verification of JSON data directly within the EVM smart contracts, bridging the gap between blockchain technology and traditional web data formats. Personally, I haven't tried this, honestly, to be honest, but the team has a working demo here on the links provided if you want to give it a try. There is also the full light paper can also be read on the GitHub repo. It has a separate repo, separate from the WeaveDB repo. So this is github.com/weavedb/zkJSON. Yeah, someone asked, zkJSON is live already or just light paper? It's live already. You could visit these URL links. I'll share. Let me just share it for now. Yeah. Later, I will be going back with the questions on the chat because so that I can continue with the presentation. Okay. These are some of the key features of WeaveDB. So a Web3 database requires a different set of features from traditional database due to its permissionless nature. Um, you cannot just bring in an existing database and just decentralize the node network. It's not going to work well. So a Web3 database should be built from scratch with cryptography, and data ownership should be programmable with smart contracts. And to address this issue, the WeaveDB team developed our own domain-specific language called FPJSON. So in basic form, FPJSON is a functional programming utility with more than 250 composable functions, and you can build any level logic by composing functions in a form of a simple JSON array. And for now, the parser is only implemented in JavaScript, and it borrows heavily from Lambda.js. So a Lambda.js is a functional library for JavaScript. So this utility enables so many features that Web3 database must have, such as the crypto wallet authentication, data schema, access control rules, auto-executed cron jobs. Yeah, everything is listed here. So everything is expressed as a JSON data object and then stored as a smart contract state. Yeah, so these are just some use cases of WeaveDB. So some are social, like social web applications. So Web 2 apps can be ported to fully decentralized applications for the first time using WeaveDB. Um, the ID social and social graph protocols can also utilize fully decentralized database and then decentralized oracles. So WeaveDB will be able to serve data to other blockchains via IBC. And then blockchain, of course, blockchain games will need fully on-chain, low-latency, real-time games, which WeaveDB can support. And then decentralized science and blockchain indexers. Okay, okay. And then with so many use cases that you can think of for this hackathon, the team would like to see applications related to AI or social media platforms, or maybe any novel use cases related to crypto. On top of my head, like some ideas about using WeaveDB with AI use cases, something like a maybe a recommendation system to store user behavior data. So you have your user behavior data stored on WeaveDB, maybe. I would also just like to share with you how WeaveDB has been growing. Um, you can check our dashboard at dashboard.weavedb.dev. Let me show you this one, this tab. Okay, so as of this time, we have a total of 1,529 databases deployed, and a total of 54,000 plus um, transactions written to the databases. So this is accumulated to all the databases deployed. And then, yeah, so Messari has also reported, if you haven't heard Messari, they have reported WeaveDB as one of the leading Web3 databases in their enterprise. Okay. Yeah. Great. So that just ends my quick intro to WeaveDB. I know that's a lot, but I recommend that you check the documentation at docs.weavedb.dev. So let me open that one. This one. So you could go to docs.weavedb.dev to find out more about WeaveDB, and then the other resources are our Twitter and Medium, and then GitHub, of course, and then Discord and YouTube. On our YouTube channel, you can also find a playlist there if you prefer to watch videos on how to use WeaveDB with your project. So you can go to this playlist. And we also have recorded community calls from our previous calls. So currently there are 9 videos here, and then some of the event videos that we uploaded if you want to check that out. Um, yeah, and please, if you could star our GitHub repo as well, please. Just go to our GitHub repo. So yeah, that ends the intro about WeaveDB. The next part is I'd like to show you a quick demo as well using WeaveDB. So the resources we'll be going through is obviously the documentation from the docs.weavedb.dev, and then the web console. The URL will be at console.weavedb.dev. This is a user interface developed by the team just with a basic UI, so that users can easily deploy their first database and then interact with the database without writing their first lines of code yet. So this is just an interface to the SDK, or the WebDB SDK. And then I also have prepared a an application using WeaveDB. So where is it? This one. I deployed it here. So it's just a simple Twitter app wherein you have a login, a post section, and then a feed section wherein you can see the posts. Okay, so let's start first from the documentation. If this is your first time going through WeaveDB, you need to go to the documentation. And if you want to start quick with writing code, you can immediately start with a quick start guide here. It will you can start coding here, but I prefer that you also start with this folder, web console. So it goes through a step by step on how you could first deploy a database until you do some interactions with your database using the web console. Okay, so that's how what I'm going to show first here. So in deploying a database, you could for now you could go to the web console for, and then yeah, if you follow this guide, I'll just show you. You just go to console.weavedb.dev and then click the plus icon here, and then there's a deploy tab that you can choose, and you don't need to change anything here. Just deploy DB, click the deploy DB instance button, and just within a few seconds, a new smart contract database will be deployed. It will be listed here on your WeaveDB instances. So as you noticed, I already have a couple of database contracts here. So the new one that we have just deployed is at the bottom, this one. So if we click it here, um, this is your contract transaction ID. So um, this is the a unique identifier to your database contract. And if you actually click this URL here, um, this contract transaction ID URL link, it will redirect you to a Warp Explorer. So this is similar to Etherscan in Ethereum, wherein you can view smart contracts or addresses or transactions. So in this case, we are viewing the actual database contract. So we have deployed a database contract without ever writing a single line of Solidity or smart contract code. So if you want to check the code, you can also check it here, but you don't need to. So, but basically, we have just deployed a database uh, contract. Okay, and then the instructions on the documentation after deploying is just to sign in with your wallet. So there are 4 authentication methods, but for this example, let's just use MetaMask. Okay. So you will need to sign the transaction. So what this is doing is actually like kind of like a social app wherein you log in once to Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, and then the rest of the transaction you don't need to verify your credentials to make a transaction, which is kind of a cool feature that WeaveDB provides because it brings a good user experience wherein they don't really need to sign every transaction they make on on your application. Or like for example, if you're making this application a Twitter like app, so imagine if they would need to sign the transaction every time they make a post. So WeaveDB has this auto sign feature wherein it basically works like a social app plugin. So you only need to verify once and nothing else for the succeeding transactions. Okay. The next part here is the next step after deploying your database is creating a collection. So just go to the sidebar data collections and then click the plus icon, and this window will pop up. So in the example is showing to create a collection called people. You can actually name it whatever you want. For this example, let's name it people, and you can disregard the elements here on the right. It's just for test purposes. So this interface is basically for just for development. But yeah, disregard this one, and then you can you can leave this as default as well here. So this part here is the access control rule. So access control rule is actually um, validating users who will write to your data. So um, in this case, the default rule is just allowing anyone to write to the database. So that's the default. But if you want to go more in depth on your rule, you want to make restrictions, you can make that here. And but you need to understand how to use FPJSON. So that's more of maybe an intermediate topic that we can't cover for now because it will take too long. So let's just leave it at default and then click add. Oops. Oh, wait. Let me change that. Did I just make people? Okay, what did I just do? Let me refresh. I think there's it connected to the DRE node or something? Or the contract state has not, let me check. Okay. I don't know why, but the contract state did not sync. Okay. Let's create a new database contract. I don't know what happened, but what happened there was, remember we logged in a while ago, but I checked the transaction on Warp Explorer, but it is not showing. Okay, so let's sign in again. Let's check if the transaction, okay, now we have the transaction showing on Warp. So, okay. I don't know what I did wrong in the previous database, but okay. Okay, let's create the collection. Okay, now we have the people collection, and then the next step is to query your database. So there are a couple of examples or commands or queries that you can use that is provided here. You can use the simplest one is just the command get info. So when this is executed in the web console, it will just return a general information about your database. So you can go to the bottom part and click custom query, and then just paste the command, or you can type it in and then hit enter, and then yeah, it will return the result here. So it's just the general information about your database contract. And there are also sample queries here that you can use, like add. So the add query lets you create a new document on the collection, and this is the command. So the first is the command, and then the second parameter is the JSON data, and then the last one is the collection name. So collection name is the name that we created here in collection. So whatever name you put in here, so that's the name that you provide here. So let's just copy that and then paste it in the bottom terminal at the bottom. Okay, it says success, so we should be able to see it here. Yeah, so we should be able to see the document listed on this column if we select the people collection, because we just added a new document to that collection. And then there are also other commands that you can use if you want, but let's skip that because we may run out of time. So you have add, set, update, delete as well. So yeah. And then if you want to fetch data, you can use the get command. So you can either fetch a specific document, or you can fetch all the documents from the collection. So like, for example, this one, get, and then people collection. So if you paste it here, you'll get the result as with one item in the result, which is the one that we just recently added. So this document, so this is the document ID, and then this is the data inside that document. Okay, and then uh, the next part is also very important in setting up your database contract. This is the data schema. So just you can either set it up through the web console or programmatically. But for this case, let's just use the web console. You can go to the schemas menu on the sidebar, and then select the collection that you'd like to apply the schema, and then just click this icon, and it will show this window, and then you can apply or paste the schema or input the schema that you defined. So we can copy this example and replace the default one. So this schema again is also utilizing FPJSON. So it just says that we have two data fields defined for the collection called people. So it will be name and age, and we are requiring every transaction to have these data fields or properties. So name and age should be of string and of number, and it should be included in the transaction when you are creating a new document. Okay, so I've clicked the add button. So now, after setting up your data schema, you could also, like I've mentioned earlier about access control rule, wherein we have the default access control rule to allow just anyone to write to your collection. And the example provided here in the documentation shows that these rules can allow anyone to create a new document. And also, so this line here allows anyone to create a new document, and this part here ensures that only the original um, creator, or the one who created this document, can update their own data. So like if I am the one who added this data previously, I the database contract will validate that, or verify that I will be the only one who could make an update to it. So let's just copy this rule, and then you can go to this menu on the sidebar, and then again just select the collection that you want to apply the rule, and then click this icon, and then yeah, you can see here the default one is just allowing anyone to write to your collection. And let's delete that and paste the example, which is yeah, still allowing anyone to create, but only allowing um, a specific user to update. And then we have not defined a rule to delete, so you cannot delete it. And then yeah, that's the like the most basic basic the basic things that you need to start your WeaveDB database. So deploying a database, then creating a collection, and then trying to query your database, and then setting up the schema, and then using the setting up also the access control rule. So that is still using the web console. But what if we use now we integrate WeaveDB with a Next.js application? Okay, so that's the where's the VS Code? Okay, now so I assume everyone already, or maybe most of you, has already an idea on creating a web project. So for this case, I'm using Next.js boilerplate, and then Chakra UI for component framework library, and then yeah, and then the WeaveDB SDK. So yeah, so basically, I don't know if I need. Yeah, just need you just create your project with npx create next. Uh, okay, like that. But I won't create it here because I already have that one. And then um, yeah, let's reference the quick start anyway. Um, and then after creating your project, you just install the WeaveDB SDK either through your Yarn package manager or npm. So these are the commands. So yarn add WeaveDB SDK. So and then once you have installed it, you just import again the module to your project, and then initialize the WeaveDB SDK. So for this example, the Twitter app that I built, I ran it in the local host. Okay, let me show this instead, the local host. So this is a single page. So I have already installed WeaveDB SDK, and then I imported it, and then the function to set up WeaveDB is here on setup WeaveDB component. So I have here the initialize, the same initialization code as provided in the documentation. This one here, initialize with DB. So it's the same, but I put it inside a function, setup with DB. So I have my database initialized here. And then the other WeaveDB SDK functions that I also used for this sample application are, wait, let me collapse this first, are basically add, update, where's update? Update. Did I forgot update? Update. There. Yeah. Add, update. So let's take a look at add first. Anyway, add. Yeah. So the add SDK, this one, or I mean the add query using the WeaveDB SDK is just the SDK object and then that add and then the data, JSON data. So this is the JSON data for the document, and then the collection name is the second parameter, and then the last part is just basically the user auth. So if it doesn't have a user user wallet, it will just automatically where is it? Where's the uh, it will just automatically prompt you from the MetaMask. Let me show you instead. So, like for example, this one we are not plugged in, but we want to make a post. So, post without login. I hear a chat. Let me. Sorry. After initializing DB, we need. Okay, let me answer just this one. So, a question from a user: after initializing DB, we need to authenticate um, DB with user, right? Yes, you can either do that, or you could also um, leave the authentication part, uh, like this one here. I have a condition: if we don't provide we don't provide any user authentication, it will automatically prompt the user here with the MetaMask. Like let me show you the example. So here I'm making a post without login. So this is my post, and then if I click on this button, post, you see that it automatically just prompts from the MetaMask to sign the transaction. But if we are logged in, so if we are logged in, or if this user object, yeah, once we are logged in, this user object is filled. So it means that we don't need, or the user won't be prompted to sign the transaction on his MetaMask for the succeeding transactions. That's like that one. So you see that now that we are logged in, so we just change the UIs just to reflect that we are logged in. If we make a post now with login, um, it won't ask the user to prompt again to sign a transaction, because it already it WeaveDB can auto sign transactions. Okay, not there. So it's showing that it's showing that post was added, but no MetaMask pop-up appeared. Okay, so that was the add function. You can actually also check the documentation for the queries that you want to use for WeaveDB. On this part here, query APIs. On the sidebar, select query APIs, and if you're making a write transaction to the database, just select write queries, and you can see here there is an add query, and you can see more information about it and how you can use. So you can either just, yeah, basically you could just have the JSON data and then the collection name, but this will prompt the user to sign the transaction on MetaMask. Whereas in my case, I have also an option to auto sign transactions. So the reference to auto sign transactions actually can be found here on the SDK reference, and then you can select authentication, and then here you can check more information about the how it is being used, like temporary address for auto signing. This one. And then what else? So that was the add function, and then for the delete, yeah, basically, yeah, just the same. Like call the delete query. So still using the SDK object, and then delete, and then for reference, you can check it here in write queries, and then delete. So delete requires a collection name and then the document ID. So that's this one. So collection name and then my document ID. And then it's optional. It's just optional if you want to provide the user um, auth or you want them to sign uh, from MetaMask. Okay, so that's delete, and then yeah, basically the same for update. Where's update? Update. Yeah, update. Yeah, so update db.update. Then so you just have the JSON data and then the collection name, and then again the document ID that we want to update. And then for the fetching of data, I just use uh, the this one cget query. You can find the reference here in the documentation. Then go to just go to query APIs and then read queries. There are two queries that you can use, either get or cget. So yeah, the get query just returns the data itself, so only the JSON data. While if you use the cget, it will provide metadata of the documents as well. So the metadata is in this structure. So you have the ID, the setter, the data, the block object, which contains the timestamp and the height. Okay. Um, okay, so that's fetching of data. So I have the adding of data and then fetching of data. What else? I think this is also just fetching data from a specific, fetching document from a specific user. So there is using the SDK query to fetch all the documents from the database with a filter. Uh, so yeah, you can query with a filter, or you can fetch data with a where condition, like for example this one. So I have a where condition for my uh, cget query. So um, if you want to check where's yeah, here it's also documented here how you could use the where condition. So basically it's um, get or cget and then the collection name, and then this is for the sorting, and then this is the where condition. Okay, what else? And then, yeah, I think the last thing is the login, how it is implemented. So basically, for auto signing transactions, with DB SDK query provides a this function create temp address. So it is linking internally link a temporary address to your signer wallet. So that's how we achieved auto signing transactions for the user, so that they will have a more better user experience similar to traditional web apps, and don't have to bother really verifying or yeah validating their credentials every time they want to use the social app. So that's the login. Um, yeah, and again, the reference for the login is here on the SDK reference and authentication part. You can read more about it here. Um, yeah, I think I covered most of the SDK queries being used. So what else? So I have Web Console, I have the Warp Explorer. Um, this one I shared, and then I also shared this one. Okay, let me just share all this share all this resource here first, so that you can um, have some reference. Okay, I think maybe we can have enough couple of minutes so that I can maybe take a couple of questions. Hardik, I think I'm done with the presentation.
Absolutely. So we have a few questions that came up in chat. Starting from the very beginning, first somebody was asking, what is warp?
Warp is a smart contract platform on top of our Weave, so it's using Smart Weave. So it's a smart contract platform, and then it's on top of our Weave.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. And then I think you answered the second one already about if zkJSON is live already or just what light
Mhm.
paper. I think you said it is live already. Um, then Vincent asks, what are some practical use cases for zkJSON? Like some examples, maybe.
Oh, honestly, I haven't thought of that because didn't really use it yet. This is very this is very new, but I don't know. I don't have any idea yet for now, honestly.
Okay, no problem. Then Ryder was asking, can we access data from WeaveDB inside Ethereum smart contracts? I'm asking because you said it's a smart contract database, so I'm wondering.
Yeah, so WeaveDB is a smart contract database itself on our Weave. It's not on Ethereum, but you can access data outside. You mean you want to access data from Solidity or from Ethereum? If so, if that is so, you could use WeaveDB by using the relay query. There is a feature called relay to access data outside of WeaveDB, because WeaveDB itself is not in inside Ethereum, but it's in our Weave. But it can still access or get external data using the relay query.
Okay, perfect. So hopefully that answers the question. And then I think you answered the next one already as well about
Mhm.
after initializing the DB, do we need to authenticate it with the user? Yeah, I think that one was answered
Mm.
already. You have another question. How about storing images in the database? Is that feasible? And what is your recommendation to store images? And I think on the same note, there's actually a similar question that says like, can we store large files in DB, or is it more like like a regular NoSQL
Uh,
database? I guess.
I forgot the maximum uh, amount per transaction or maximum size per transaction limit for, but I think it's already big enough. But I really forgot. But in terms of storing images, no, actually, there is another. I also forgot which protocol that was, which handles better storing of images. But for WeaveDB's case, you could just use WeaveDB as maybe a storing of metadata. So then that would reference to the URL of your image.
Hmm. Yeah. So
Yeah, maybe. I think Bundler. Yeah, someone mentioned Bundler. Yeah, yeah, I think Bundler also does that.
yeah, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I mean, like WebDB is more like a normal NoSQL database, guys. It's like larger storage. I think like Arweave by itself or like Bundler, I guess is which one. So you can use like a combination of both. Um, store large data on Bundler and then have a URL to it inside
Yeah,
WebDB. Um, Perfect.
yeah.
Cool. We're actually exactly on time. So I don't know if anybody has any last minute questions, but we're going to start wrapping up. First of all, thank you so much, Ethan. Great presentation. Learned a lot. And um, this is recorded. So I know a few people joined late. So it will be uploaded to YouTube shortly as soon as possible. I'll share links on the Discord. Looking forward to seeing what everybody's building. Thanks, Ethan, once again. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And have a great rest of your day, night, wherever you are. We shall see each other soon. Any last words, Ethan, from you for the audience?
Yeah, just again, thank you also, Hardik and Learn Web3 for this great opportunity. And I hope to see everyone building great products with WeaveDB. And if you ever have any questions, please approach us on Discord. I'll be there almost 24/7. If okay. So again, thank you.